Now, in April of 2020, you wrote a paper for the Wall Street Journal, I think, talking about the concept of it being spread from a bat, and you kind of went into what was being told at the time. And then within a month or two, you were ready, or you wrote something saying, I'm now not sure, or it could have come from a lab.
Exactly that. I wrote an article called The Bats Behind the Pandemic for the Wall Street Journal, and in it I said, we can be pretty sure it didn't come out of a lab, but we do know it came from a bat, and the question is, how did it get from a bat cave, probably 1,000 miles away, to Wuhan? And within a month or two, I'm saying, look, there are 4 ways this could have happened. There are lots of ways, but there are 4 obvious ways. One is that there's some animal being sold in the market in Wuhan that has come from a long way away and that somehow was stored in a cave where it picked up a bat disease, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what happened in the case of SARS, as far as we can make out. The second is that there's a human being who lives in a rural area, goes into a bat cave to harvest bat guano as fertilizer. He catches a train to Wuhan, he infects people. That the vector from Yunnan to Wuhan is a human being. The third is that human being is a scientist who's gone into that bat cave not to collect bat guano, but to collect blood samples and nasal mucosal samples from bats. And that's been happening on a far bigger scale in the last 10 years in Yunnan than it has in the previous 10 years. Why? Because they were on the trail of the original SARS. They wanted to find out where the original SARS came from, et cetera, et cetera. So they mounted a ton of expeditions to caves and mine shafts all over Yunnan to collect samples from horseshoe bats and to analyze the viruses they found in them. And they found something like 630 new types of coronavirus. And of that, about 100 were probably SARS-like coronaviruses. And of those 100, 9 were like SARS-CoV-2, the cause of COVID. All 9 came from, this is at the beginning of the pandemic, the 9 closest relatives of that virus were found in that one mine shaft in Mojiang County in Yunnan. And the only people collecting bat virus samples in that area and taking them elsewhere were the Wuhan Institute of Virology. You know, there's not a Beijing institute doing the same thing. There was one Beijing expedition early on, but it was mostly looking at other animals, actually, not bats. You know, it's not as if every city in China has this kind of lab. The only lab in China that is working on SARS-like viruses, SARS-Bika viruses, is the Wuhan Institute of Virology, or at least by far the biggest is that institute. So, and by the way, you know, you often hear people say, oh yeah, but you know, come on, the reason that lab is in Wuhan is because that's where the viruses are. No, the viruses are in Yunnan, they're 1,000 miles away. They have looked for SARS-like viruses in the bats around Wuhan, and there are horseshoe bats around Wuhan, and they've never found one. They've found other coronaviruses, but not SARS-Bika viruses, which are the kind we're looking for. So, you know, the geographical coincidence here is pretty striking, and I'll give you an analogy. In 2007, here in the UK, foot and mouth disease broke out on a farm at Pirbright in Surrey, and 13 miles down the road from that farm was the world's leading reference laboratory for foot and mouth disease virus. Is that a coincidence? Turned out, no, it is not a coincidence. You know, nobody said, well, that just must be a coincidence. You know, no big deal. There's probably nothing to see here. They said, whoa, this is way too close to that lab. We need to check if something's gone wrong there. And within a week or two, they had figured out that a contractor had been at the lab mending a broken pipe and had gone straight to the farm that then became infected. So we're talking here about a lab that was 8 miles from the market where the outbreak was first detected, in the case of COVID, and that is the leading lab in the world for working on these kinds of viruses.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast It's going to be bloody. It's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I'm just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just in overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you got to pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.